Hey guys, Brian here with Brian Imaging. We're back again with another diorama making. I asked my friend what next diorama I should make, and he mentioned a sniper nest. That was part of my list, so we picked that. So for the snipers, I'll be using Warhammer snipers from the Space Marines. This is technically my first time using a Warhammer miniatures to make for a diorama. I did buy a Warhammer beginner kit, which I'll probably do for my next diorama coming up, which I have planned with, in the trenches. I've been watching videos on how to make a trench, so I'll probably be my next diorama. But as you can see here, I'm taking apart. I'm probably just going to use 2 snipers from the kit for now, and then save the 3 again for another diorama project I have planned later on. Um, as you can see, this is my first time ever checking out a Warhammer miniature set, which is pretty decent. I saw it for a decent price when I was at a comic book store. I've never worked with Warhammer before. I don't know much about the lore. I've been reading up about it lately just to figure out more about what I'm working on. But I do like the Space Marines because it does remind me a lot of the StarCraft Marines that I did recently. I realized halfway through after gluing the miniatures together that I should have just painted it first on the I guess what's called the sprills, and then before painting it. But it is what it is. So after I put the 2 miniatures together, this is me putting the base. I usually like using Evil Foam for now as a base. For the styrofoam circle, as you can see there, I used it from a vacuum cleaner package that I got recently, so I'll use that for a nest for them to hide out in. This is me just hot gluing it all together to create it all. I'm just using my glue gun to punch holes in it to make it look damage in it as like in a war zone. As you hear for the mixture, I'm using Mod Podge mixed with PVA glue, watered down, and some dirt on it, and some plaster to make the base. I still gotta figure out what's the right mix for it, because I'm just guessing on eyeballing at this point. My other diagrams you see before, if you watch the other previous videos, I've been using plaster sheets. But I think to make the more realistic look of like a worn, torn area, it would be better to just use plaster Mod Podge mix to make it look more rocky and more debris. I just keep forgetting how messy plaster is. But it's definitely worth it for the final product. As you can see here, I was trying to use every ounce of Mod Podge mixture I just used for the plaster. So I'm just spreading it out as much as I can. If you have any other suggestions of what I should use or how much mixture I should get, please put it in the comments below, and I'm just learning as I go. Any suggestions will help. After setting up the mixture and I'm putting out for the base, I'm just gluing up some debris and sand and dirt to add onto the pile. To stick the glue and the rocks together, I'm using watered down glue mixture with some PVA glue. I got most of my rocks and debris from Hobby Lobby recently. It's the only other hobby store to get stuff right now because I tried Michael's and I also tried what was it, Joann's, but they don't have much. Only Hobby Lobby has mostly everything I've been looking for so far. I thought it would be a cool idea to put some of the rocks and dirt inside the nest, but in the end, as for the final product, it was just a big mess. But keep going what I had to do. So at this point here, I'm just trying to figure out how to make the nest and put a hover over it, like a cover. For the cover, I did use a bandage cover looking thing that I had for our costume, like a mummy costume I had recently, and I was going to use that for the net to cover over the nest. This is here, right here. I'm just adding more dirt into the area. This is good practice for me when I'm still trying to figure out how to make my next diorama will be a trench warfare. I'm still torn whether I should make it a World War II inspired trench or should I do like Warhammer trench. If you guys want to help me decide, just put the comment down below which one you want me to do. After cleaning up, here's just me setting up the 2 miniatures and getting ready to paint. After completely spray painting it black, I am dry brushing it with white on top to do the slap chop method that I've been learning and trying out. First I used to go with gray, but I think it looks better if I just go straight dry brush with white. And then I use speed paints from Army Painter to paint the rest. I did go to a Warhammer store that's in my area, and they were telling me about how Citadel contrast paints works as well too. So I might try that next after I try to use after my Army Painter. But I've gotten so used to Army Painter right now with speed paints for slap chopping method. But I will try to use the contrast paints that came with that beginner's Warhammer packet that I got recently. Here I'm just using a Highland Magic Blue that I got on the speed paint to cover for the blue. I realized halfway through after I first painted the first one that I should have not painted the cape blue. It should have been black. So after I did the second miniature, I went back and recolored the capes green because I was going to make a ghillie suit out of it because they're both snipers. If you guys do play Warhammer, what is your favorite army to play with? Right now, I really like the Space Marines. I really want to get more into the Space Marines, but I also like the Astra military one that looks more like military with tanks and machine guns and heavy ordnance. But as right now, the Space Marines one are the very like easy army to find right now where the location I am, and it reminds me a lot of the StarCraft Marines. So I really like those. So I'm trying to get into that more. But if you do play Warhammer 4K, what is your favorite army to play with? Put the comments down below and let me know. As you can see, I'm just painting the guns black with mixture with some silver in the barrel. And then with the night vision goggles or the scopes lens that they had on top of their heads, I painted it black with a mixture of silver and gold. Here I'm just painting this grid area, like silver chrome area, because that's where I'm going to put inside the nest to give it more of a wall texture base. I'm probably going to use the same method when I build the trenches on the wall side to build into the trenches what I have on the next diorama. I'm adding some military wash that I got from Army Painter. After I primed and painted black the base and the area, I'm going to start a dry brushing gray to make it look more of a concrete land base area. As you can see here, I'm using also an airbrush to print the areas gray. This is the first time I'm ever using an airbrush. I just got it recently and I'm still trying to learn and figure it out. It's pretty cool though for a self-compressor without a attached to a big compressor. This is just a mild, small compressor attached to an airbrush. Or the airbrush attached to a small compressor. Here I'm just painting the whole area gray to give it more of a urban feel. Because they're snipers, I'm adding some battlefield grass that I got from Army Painter and putting on their capes to give it like a ghillie suit feel. Because, you know, they are snipers. I just thought it would be a little cool and a nice detail add. I just chopped up some Eva foam right here to make it look more like city block concrete. So I'm just gonna mix it those concrete blocks that I cut up and make it look like debris and destruction around and piles. It looked cool in the end, though. But if you have any other suggestions what I should use, just put in the comments down below. I did add some barbed wire, but I just ended up using one barbed wire and just put it in the back of the pillbox. The little antenna looking thing that I added in the back of the pillbox was just some extra pieces I got from a Gundam model set that I used for a diorama I made a couple weeks ago. Just trying to give it a little more like a hidden military installation sniperness. Also, those two ledges that I'm adding on is going to be to hold the little cape mesh that I got from that bandage I mentioned earlier. It's to hold up the tent. And I painted the areas black, and here's the diorama. Let me know what you think. And that's it, guys. That's my Warhammer Sniper Nest diorama. If you want to see more, just like and subscribe down below, and give me any more suggestions on what diorama I should make next. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.